Do-do-do.
Richard! Richard, help!
Shawn,
Yeah, it's me!
why are you in a sewer?
I was looking for the turtles.
You were as pathetic as you are sad. Now listen to this, because it's a Pod Bros exclusive. I'll go get a ladder. What's up, everybody? I'm Richard.
And I'm Shawn.
And we are speaking the language of romance. I started to say it, and then I felt like singing it.
Aw. Sometimes we still need to do that singing episode, the musical episode.
The musical episode.
Our Once More with Feeling episode.
That'll be the series finale. That'll be our last episode ever. Because after that, I will never want to look at the internet again because I'll want to read the comment section.
It'll just be the Looney Tunes thing.
Oh, God. They hate me.
All right, so you found a little interesting story. So America's Bloodiest War is not a thing that's to be laughed about.
Wow, way to bring the whole thing down.
But this story about how it almost started, it makes it a little bit more funny. It's kind of in a funnier way.
So America's bloodiest conflict, you're talking about the Civil War.
The Civil War.
Which I never, this is, not to sound insensitive, but I never, of course, people say, oh, well, we had more casualties in there were more American casualties in the Civil War than any other war. I'm like, well, yeah, because it was us on both sides. Of course it won in casualties. Double the casualties. 100% more casualties.
Yeah, I'm looking it up now. I remember it being significantly more, though, was the issue. Or what was the thought behind it?
Well, after the Civil War was, World War I? Followed promptly by World War II. This war's for real. World War II, this time it's personal.
But I mean, like you said, there's double it was basically us fighting ourselves. So, of course, it's going to at least double. But it was one of the longer wars, too, I think. This is me showing my ignorance of history. But I think it was 10 years. And most of the other wars didn't last quite that long.
Yeah. Well, most of the other wars were... so World War II was from... we're going to say 41 to 45. That's 4 years. And I don't think we ever take stock in that. You and I mean, obviously we were not born into a generation. I mean, we've seen armed conflicts, we see it on the news and stuff like that. But we've never lived in an actual time where there was a declared war since Korea?
Well, that was the last one where there was drafts. Well, Vietnam. Vietnam would have been the last one where there's drafts. I think that's the big difference.
Yeah, but Vietnam an actual, I don't think Congress declared war in that, did they?
Korean was the same way. It wasn't an actual war. It was a police action. I learned that from MASH. But yeah, I mean, you have to think how grateful we have to be because... our generation's really first one where there has been wars. I mean, there was the Gulf War, there's the wars in Iraq, but there was no draft in place. If there was a draft, I mean, I was at the ripe age where if we're going to have this Gulf War, we need to draft some people, I would get drafted.
That's true, dealing with armed conflicts and police actions and, yeah.
But yeah, we live in an age where there's not a draft. You still have to sign up, but it's been kind of foregone that there's just no draft more.
Yeah, I never understood that, why we still have to sign up.
I think it's like a just in case, probably. Just in case World War III breaks out. Listen, you all are going to die anyway, so we're going to teach you how to eat these rations.
Nom, nom, nom.
Where's the podcast side? I want to join the podcast group. We see here you have the experience as a general of the LOBarmy. We're excited to have you here. No, it's not a real army.
No, it's not. No, it's a thing on the internet. No, I don't want the hat. Oh, Shawn, they gave me 3 stars. I don't want it.
But this is off of History Buff. But this is talking of the Battle of Fort Sumter, kicked off one of the bloodiest wars in American history.
Yes. Okay, so wait, this was the start. This was the beginning. This is where the Civil War, this is where somebody looked at the fuse that led to the barrel of gunpowder known as Civil War, and this is where it was lit. This is where somebody lit the fuse.
Yeah, I think the fuse was probably already, maybe it was a short fuse. Like it's been burning for a while.
Yeah, this is where the fuse met the barrel.
Yeah.
And then what did we get? Civil War explosion. Whoop-ah! American casualties!
And it wasn't like a good like Marvel Civil War where everybody's like, "Oh, they'll be friends later, right?"
We'll just punch each other at the airport. And then it'll be all better.
So when South Carolina seceded from the United States in December 20th of 5 days before Christmas, like, could you imagine?
Yeah.
It's like, hey, guess what, Lincoln? We got a present for you. We're leaving.
I got 2 presents for you. Deuces.
No Christmas card in the mail for you, Mr. Lincoln.
How crazy is that? Like, think about that. Okay. Now, okay. Here's it's not really my closing thought, but this is my thought, and I'm giving it early. Okay. I feel like obviously we live in a very polarizing time, but like we're talking back then, we're talking about guys elected president, and then, a little bit of time goes by and states are actually leaving, and not just, the crazy threatening to, oh, we're going to secede. Like, not that, like they actually did it. South Carolina was like, you know what? We're out.
Well, you have to think, so we think of 1860, 1861 as being like a lifetime ago. It was like 140, 150 years ago. It was relatively recent. So these people were growing up hearing the stories of, hey, my grandpa fought the American Revolutionary War. He fought tyranny and got their independence. These people are less than 100 years after all of that had finished. So really what they're thinking is like, listen, this is our independence. This is our revolution. They didn't see it as a civil war. They saw it as the Second American Revolution, I think.
That's true. But still, I mean, you want to talk about a polarizing time. Like like I said, you and I think that right now we deal with a very polarizing. We're living in a very polarized nation when it comes to a difference of opinion on things like politics and stuff like that. Well, 160 rough years ago, you're talking about states leaving whole states leaving the fucking country.
We're gonna start our own country.
Oh, and we're going to call it the Confederate country of fuck you, America.
No, let's keep the states thing. I like that. I like that they're states. So the Confederate States. Well, that's kind of like, they're USA. We need to have something. Okay, we're the Confederate States of America. Yeah.
CSA. We sound like a tax service.
Oh, yeah. We gotta put those taxes in place, don't we? Isn't that what we're fighting against? Like,
no, that's what we fought against, and we won that one. So
now we can tax.
It should work if we do it twice, right? So now we're fighting a revolution over the revolution. This is revolution squared. Revolution part deux.
Revolution 2.0. I don't get that reference.
160 years. That's going to be hilarious.
So in Charleston, Union Major Robert Anderson saw the situation deteriorating, and he moved his small force of 85 soldiers from Fort Moultrie on the mainland overlooking Charleston Harbor to Fort Sumter in the middle of the harbor. I guess this was an unfinished fort, and Anderson's men occupied it by the time Lincoln's inauguration a few months later happened. So these men were running low on supplies, I guess.
Why would you move them to an unfinished fort? Now, hang on, boys. This one's a bit of a fixer-upper, but I really like the location. It's right on the water.
They were like, no, listen, we can flip it. Yeah, it's right on the water. Look at this view. Look at this view.
So much potential. We're just a walk away from the square.
Wait, are those CSA ships? Are those CSA ships? Where's our ships?
Are those cannons? Do we have cannons? Did we bring the cannons? Who packed the cannons? Did you mark it on the box? Did you write cannons on the box?
Oh, I thought you said cans. I thought you said canned onions. I thought you were shorthanding it. We got tons of canned onions. We don't even need a can onions. They last forever.
Well, okay, well, where's the can opener? Ooh.
Well.
About that. I packed it with the cannon.
I'm so hungry.
Thunk, thunk, thunk.
Wait, maybe we throw them at the ships. Kaplunk. Oh, damn it.
Man, we're dead.
So across the water, Confederate Beauregard, General Pierre, Gustave, Toutant. So they had a French in their army.
Which is weird because like you always attribute the South as being slightly racist. So they're like, hey, we're run by Frenchmen.
Yeah.
We're progressive.
Progressive for the day, yeah. No, we'll let this Frenchie help us run our army. So he saw that they were running low on supplies, so he demanded their surrender on April 11th, right?
Ho, ho, ho. You want some food, huh? Ho, ho, ho.
Why are you talking with such a crazy accent? I mean, you were born in Tennessee.
Oh, because I am Tennessee French. No, I am from New Orleans.
What are you doing fighting with the South Carolina army?
I love the water. My heart was in the sea.
Under the sea. Under the sea. Darling, it's better. Darling, it's better. Under the sea. Oh, no one laughs. In 160 years, that will be hilarious.
And you will not laugh. Read the book.
So the Union General Anderson refused. Of course, he's like, no, this is our fort.
Yeah, fuck you guys. No, we found this place. We're gonna flip it. I know it looks a mess right now, but you just wait. We're gonna put these walls up. I'm thinking a bit of an Art Deco theme. You know, maybe some tile in the entryway.
American flag, obviously, with all the stars.
We're even counting yours. You cannot count us. We succeeded.
We do not recognize your succeeding, Frenchie.
Why don't you succeed this?
I spit in your general direction. I imagine this is like the show where they're flipping this house is like one of those HGTV shows.
Me too. I totally was. Like, okay. Like now I'm picturing like a gay contractor, or no, a contractor and his wife, and they're like, okay, we're gonna show you 3 forts, and we want you to pick the one that you feel best fits your needs.
All right, this one is a little ways from the water, but it's complete. It's got indoor plumbing.
Ooh.
Look at that flagpole. Look how big it is.
Yeah, this is a new thing. We're trying it out. I know the Romans, like, it was like a big fad about, 800 years ago, but we think it's coming back. The whole indoor plumbing thing.
All right, well, we'll show you this last one. It's Fort Sumter. It's Fort something, and they heard Fort Sumter. Perfect. Look, it's got a great view. The walls, we can do so much with, this is partially done, so we can do so much with this.
Yeah, it's the best part right here. I mean, you see something that's slightly run down. What I'm seeing is open floor plan. That's what I'm seeing.
What I see is a blank canvas that I can put all my art on.
So what it'll be? Fort number 1, Fort number 2, or Fort Sumter.
Fort Sumter it is. So, of course he refused. He did it he refused at 4:30 in the morning, which you'd think they would sleep in, but no, he gets up and he no, we're going back to sleep.
This guy's just sleeping on the ship. He just see at the 4:30 in the morning. Guy just stands up. Hey, fuck off!
I see General Pierre. He's like, General, wake up! There's somebody shouting from Fort Sumter. Ah, yes, they finally are going to surrender to me, General Pierre. I will be written about in so many books.
I claim this fort in the name of Mars. No, sir. They're not surrendering. They're telling us to fuck off.
I got dressed for this shit.
It is 4:30 in the morning. The rooster has not made his cock-a-doodle-doo yet.
Bring me the rooster. I shall choke him to death. When I am angry, I choke the chicken.
They be terrible creatures. So 4:30 in the morning. He probably did that at 4:30 in the morning because he was hoping no one would hear.
No! Fuck off! Did you hear what I told him to fuck off? Did you really? Yeah.
Yeah,
totally
some
did.
total badass. I know this fort isn't finished.
Boom! What was that? I think they got the message. Boom!
I think they heard me.
So what followed was a 34-hour exchange of artillery fire, most of which was what came from the Confederate side.
34 hours.
Yeah, a full day and 10 hours.
So they heard him. 4:30 in the morning or not. Like, that was, like, they were probably just pissed off. Like, this asshole woke us up at 4:30 in the morning telling us to fuck off. Screw that.
We will fire all the cannons for days and 10 hours. It will be known as the 34-hour Pierre bombing.
A day and a half of bombing. Meanwhile, he's standing on the fort going, hey, ruining the property value.
You're not even hitting the mark. So the question is like, well, how many people died during this 34-hour bombing?
I'm thinking hundreds. 34 hours of constant shelling. Are these from boats or did they?
Yeah, I would assume boats. I'm guessing boats anyway.
I like the thought of boats better.
If you give me and you a cannon on a boat, even though we both are kind of not very seaworthy, like I would think we'd be able to hit something.
After 34 hours, we could figure out.
Yeah, but 0 people died from this, and according to Mark Collins Jenkins, more animals actually died than people, and that was one mule. So it's probably just some dumb mule. It's like, hey, what's this? And tried to eat one of those small cannonballs and swallowed it and choked to death.
No, it was probably what they were. They were like, after 15 hours, they're like, all right, boys, all right. So listen, we haven't hit shit yet.
It's like a halftime game. He's like got a chalkboard. Okay, listen here, everybody. You are shooting like sheet.
and you are like sheet, and you're all like sheet. So a new plan. First thing we're going to do is calibrate the cannons. So I put the mule over by the fort. If we can hit the mule, then we should be able to hit the fort, right, boys? I mean, if we can hit a mule, obviously, that's moving around and being an ass, then obviously we should be able to hit an immobile fort.
If you embarrass me and not kill that mule, I would be pissed. I went all the way over to the fort. I brought the mule, put him in front. They made fun of me. They said, hey, Pierre, I hear you sniff poopy poop.
Ha ha! I bet you rode that mule, you son of a bitch. Oh, fuck you, union bastards.
What I do with mules is none of your business. It's called a Tennessee hooker. Look it up. But I thought you were from Tennessee.
Shut up!
Touche, you son of a bitch.
I hate this war already, and it hasn't even started.
It's like, all right, here we are. We are the X's. The boats are the X's. Here's the fort. Here's the mule. Game plan. Shoot mule, then shoot fort. Okay, break.
All right, we got this, boys. We got this. I know Pierre's kind of mad at us, but we can hit this. So let's hit the mule. Ready? And
Fire. We got the mule.
We hit the mule.
Right.
Good. Now aim at the fort. The fort? Well, they're all aimed at the mule.
All right, recalibrate. Oh shit! Now we're shooting over it. So after 34 hours, Anderson decided he had enough. All right, he's like, okay, they're getting close. This last one, I think, was like 100 yards away. They hit that mule that was in the front.
They hit that mule, boys. They're serious.
Pierre came up. We called him Frenchie. He dropped the mule off. And then he walked back and we made fun of him some more. Why
All
didn't we
right.
shoot him like right there? It's like, oh, we don't want to be the first ones to shoot.
So the Union guy gathers his people around. He's like, okay, first off, I think this is a bad venture because, number one, I'm almost positive at this point we cannot reclaim our investment. I mean, between the fact that there isn't a stitch of vegetation left out there after 34 hours of shelling, and also the dead mule parts out the front door.
We're going to have to tell anybody that looks at this place, we're going to have to tell them about the dead mule. And then, I don't know if you know this, but in a lot of the states now, there's this big mule ghost fear. I don't know where it came from, but everybody's scared that there's mule ghosts in their house.
Nobody's going to buy this place. We're stuck with it now, boys. So here's what we got to do. I'm thinking we do some throw pillows. We'll try and spruce the place up as best as we can, and we'll just tough it out until the market turns. So
we got a good interest rate on it. It's a good interest rate. It'll be all right. We'll make it through.
We should be able to refinance in a couple of years, provided that they're still in America at the end of this war, and it should be all fine.
So apparently after he decided to surrender, there was the first casualty of the war. Almost the first casualty was Roger A. Pryor. He was a guy from Virginia who was visiting Fort Sumter shortly after the battle.
Oh, God, he's the only guy that died and he was just visiting?
He was almost the first casualty. It was nearly him.
Oh, nearly him.
So he's sitting with these Union offers. He rode in on a mule, had it parked outside.
He rode in on the mule, and then the mule blew up. Like, I'll tell you what. They can't hit this fort with shit, but they are fucking crack shots when it comes to hitting livestock.
I parked him out front. I got him validated. So I don't know what Pierre was doing. He steals my mule, puts it out front, and they blow it up. Sons of bitches.
I think that's just insult to injury.
So Pryor was super upset about his mule getting blown up, right? So he's like, listen, guys, let's pour ourselves a drink. Let's have a drink. This could be our last night on Earth. And everybody's like, do you see how these guys are shooting? We'll be fine.
I think we're good. No worries. We're not mules, so I think we're safe.
So apparently he sat with Union officers and got up to pour himself a drink without asking. So he's like the dude at the party that invited himself. He's like, oh, look, you guys are drinking. I'm going to drink. Walks over, grabs a bottle with 3 X's on it. Like, this must be good stuff, right?
Sure, whatever.
Nope. He pours what he thought was whiskey, Richard.
Oh, God, it wasn't whiskey?
It wasn't whiskey. It was iodine.
Oh, no.
So,
what would that do to your system?
I have no idea. He gets back to the guys. The guys were probably drinking water because, they're preparing for battle. And they're like, what? I don't know what he's wanting to drink. There's no booze here. Like, we forgot the cannons. Obviously, we forgot the booze too. It wasn't on the list.
We put it in a box. I'm not sure. You know how it is with moving. Like, you get everything, but then there's always one box that sits around for like months at a time. The iodine might be in there. I don't know. We started a junk drawer.
Well, Chad's the guy that was like there. He's like, listen, the booze wasn't on the list. I saw it, but it wasn't on the list. What am I supposed to do? You never leave the booze, Chad. Seriously.
Yeah. You know what? I think we should still get our deposit back.
So Pryor, he's like, all right, listen, I gotta impress these soldiers, right? I gotta show how bad I am. He holds it up.
He's also depressed about the mule. He's like, oh.
Yeah, depressed, wants to show off. So what he does with this glass of iodine, Richard, which he thinks is whiskey, he's like, all right, guys, blah, 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 and gulps it down in one drink.
To my beloved Bessie. Is that your mule? Nope, my wife.
The mule's a better lover. Isn't the mule man? Like, it looked like a boy mule.
Looked like a mule, but yeah, is that what is that how it works?
Oh God, iodine. Gulp, gulp, gulp.
Doesn't iodine stain? See, okay. So let's say that you, Shawn, are like, I'm going to get drunk with these guys. I'm going to impress myself, or I'm going to impress them. So you walk over and you pour yourself a drink. Now, as soon as you throw it back, let's say you got to that point. At that point, I would think that you have drank whiskey,
Yeah.
so you would know what whiskey tastes like.
I would wonder too, like if you think back in this time, like everybody was basically moonshining it, so maybe all whiskey tastes different. Like it was probably a lot more alcohol content than what we drink today.
Yeah, okay, I see what you're saying. So, since most alcohol was made out of a bathtub, then it all probably tasted different.
Yeah, I'd assume.
Yeah, that makes sense. Like something's wrong with this whiskey. And also, doesn't iodine stain? I thought iodine stained
I think so.
horribly.
Well, I would think it's not brown too, isn't it? Like blue.
Yeah, it's like a blue or like a yellowish, like a brownish yellow kind of color, I think, or it might be blue. So you take a drink and you're like, "Oh my god,
Is my tongue blue? Oh god, my tongue's blue.
this whiskey's amazing. Is my tongue? Look at my tongue." Ah. And that's how the rave of Fort Sumter began.
I would think drinking this in one shot, you would be trying to show off. And I've never been that guy that thinks like, hey, that dude drank a whole bottle of whiskey. He's cool. He's a cool dude.
Like, look at him like he drinks it and he's all unflinching.
Yeah.
I don't know, like Clint Eastwood always did it, like like in westerns and stuff like that, like they always like ching, ching, ching up to the bar.
Yeah.
And then they take like a shot of whiskey and then it looks like they don't move at all.
Yeah.
Like it did, that didn't even faze me. Now let me walk out of here with my shiny little chinks on my shoes.
He goes ching, goes into the alleyway. Oh goodness! Ooh, I was strong.
Blah, blah.
So Richard, thankfully, prior, somebody's like, "Hey, did you know you just drank iodine?" So the doctors were quickly able to pump his stomach and save his life. So I don't know what pumping your stomach is like today. I assume they put something down your throat or something like that.
Well, the way they still do it this way. The way they do it, the way I've seen them do it or heard them do it is they basically make you eat charcoal.
Okay.
So because then you eat the charcoal and then anything that's in your stomach, the charcoal absorbs. So you basically eat a bunch of charcoal and then you throw it up.
Oh, okay. But is that what they call pumping your stomach, or is that just a way? Because pumping always seems to me like they're actually forcefully pulling out whatever's in your stomach, not making you vomit.
No, I thought that's what. Because I mean, I don't know. Did they have stomach pumps back then? I mean, and actually, what would it? Imagine what would it be like? Like would it be like this old timey thing with like a whirly gig on it?
Well, I imagine it's just a tube. And so, it's like whenever you're trying to suck gasoline out of a car, so they hold him upside down, they put this tube down his throat. He's like, oh,
and then there's a guy on the other end that's like,
yeah,
like sucking on it, be like, oh god, I got.
Everybody afterwards, like, Pryor, you took that hose pretty well. He's like, yeah, I practice with my mule.
Well, at first he's like, how did he think that was whiskey? God, and then Pryor was known as did he have any sort of rank or whatever? Was he like a
no, he was just a dude that was like visiting.
Oh.
I don't know if he was like a newspaper guy or he's probably like some rich kid's kid.
Well, iodine's like blue or whatever, so after that he's known as Smurf Face.
Blue Pryor.
Yeah, because it probably just like got all over him. Because imagine like they pump your stomach, like you're probably like vomiting. And it's all iodine, so it's
yeah.
Like,
I don't even know how long like you could survive after drinking iodine like that.
I have no idea. I imagine not very long. And like I said, that shit stains. I've heard that like is the worst, if not the most. That's it. Like the iodine stain is the stain. It's game over. That's your game over stain.
Yeah.
The Armageddon of stains.
So the first casualty of the war came shortly after the prior incident. So everybody's worried about this kid, and it occurred during the Union surrender. So the Union's like, all right, listen.
Yeah, I was gonna say right now things are not going well for either side. So you have so you have the guy announcing it for, first you have them moving to this terrible location right on the water, bad school district. and so that's mistake number 1. Mistake number 2 is they're getting shelled at 4:30 in the morning. They're like, no, fuck off.
Before the sun even comes up, they're just boom, boom.
I don't think they heard me right. Oh shit, they heard us. Everybody back in the fort.
But there's barely a fort. There's not even any walls.
No, it's an open floor plan. It's fine. Well, I got some partitions because I think it's better if we just section it off and we can kind of feng shui the interior here. We're all gonna die.
So they decide, like, okay, listen, we can't continue this. They're just gonna, we're not gonna make it, basically. So I don't understand why they did this, but apparently they walk out and they generously included 100-gun salute in their surrender. So I don't.
Maybe you know what it is. That's their secret counterattack. They're like, okay, we surrender. Bang, 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 guys. We're totally gonna surrender. I'll tell you what. Why don't so that way you can accept our surrender? Why don't you have all your men just line up right here, and before we leave, we'll do a 100-gun salute. No, boys!
Bayonets at the ready!
Oh, you got us this time.
Wait, did we miss? Did we miss too? How the hell did we miss? Oh, I brought the blank, sorry.
We should have put mules in the crowd.
So apparently this salute was cut short because I guess on this day, there was a lot of high winds. And they stockpiled their ammunition a little bit too close. I guess they did have a cannon. So they brought one cannon.
So they had a cannon.
Yeah.
We're going to give you a 100-gun salute from this one cannon. Our surrender is going to take 5 days. This one cannon shooting over and over.
You're Pierre sitting really like, 100-gun salute for the general.
Yeah, General Supreme, Generalissimo.
They will call me the French Tennessee Commander.
Oh, that is me, and I will get all of the beaches back in Tennessee. By bitches, I mean mules.
So he sees this, the 100-gun salute. Then all of a sudden he's like, this wind, that's very dangerous with that wind.
Oh, it almost blew my French hat off.
The wind kind of blows some sparks, and apparently, since their ammunition was close, it caused a huge explosion. So you see 100 bang, 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 bang.
So what? So they stack the ammunition next to the cannon?
Apparently, too close to the cannons, yeah.
Oh. I'm like, sir, we have these 18 barrels of gunpowder. Where should we put them? Right next to the thing we use to shoot explosives.
Downwind. Put him downwind. So this caused a huge explosion that killed one Union soldier and mortally wounded another. So one guy was hurt pretty bad and the other one was killed.
Well, if he's mortally wounded, that means he died. If he's mortally wounded, then, well, he doesn't die immediately, but he probably died a very slow and painful death after days and days of complete and utter agony that could not be avoided because it was back in the day, and back in the day, our solutions for medicine was let's throw
cut it off and hope for the best.
Yeah, let's just chop it off. I got a hangnail. Take the finger. Take the finger.
So Pierre comes visit the mortally wounded guy. He's like, oh, I just wanted to let you know that I won. That feng shui I call bullshit. I tear it all down and put up Tennessee Mule pictures.
Fuck your partitions.
So the ceremony ended, and the next day the Union troops withdrew from the fort. And they left, and Pierre was able to take over this fort.
Okay, so during the surrender, the cannon exploded, and then that caused a huge explosion because my guess is probably like a a spark of tinder from one of the cannons landed in all the ammunition that was sitting right next to the cannon, probably. And so a couple guys died. One right away, and the second one excruciatingly painfully a few days later. So I'm looking at numbers here. So these two guys are the only two that died.
Yeah. Yep. I imagine
This is how we start the Civil War by this fucking Benny Hill sketch of a fort siege, and we're at right now the casualties number 2.
Yeah, basically.
And it was their own fucking fault.
Yeah, because if you think about it, so Pierre is sitting there on this boat watching this 100-gun salute, and then all of a sudden he's like, "Oh, so now we will take over the fort tomorrow. We'll give them 24 hours to leave."
Yes. Meanwhile, let us listen to the tribute in my honor.
He's pulling out his sword, declaring his victory, and all of a sudden you hear a huge explosion, and he looks around, he's like, "Holy shit! The mule exploded!"
That must be the grand finale.
You have to admire these Yankees. They know how to put on a show.
Oh.
Yeah. And you wonder, this is just like a series of unfortunate events. Like, you have this thing with Pryor, and you have to wonder if that, I don't know if that caused them, to decide, okay, well, this is a bad omen, let's just get out of here. Or if that took their attention away from the battle, so they just ignored it, or if they just didn't have enough weapons.
And the thing that I love is this is how we decided to start the Civil War. Like, at that point, don't you think we'd be like, okay, so Lincoln's in his in the White House, he's in the Oval Office, he's like, guys, are we sure about this? I mean, are we sure about this? I'm not entirely sure about this anymore.
Well, that has to be a huge victory for the Confederates, because it's like, listen, we sent the French guy who likes mules, and they couldn't hit anything but a mule, and they took over a fort. It's a fixer-upper fort, but
Yeah. Okay. I have. So that's how we decided to start the Civil War. Okay, I have something on. I think this is around the same time. I'll have to. Civil War was in 1860, right?
Yeah, around that time.
Okay. There we go. Okay, so I have something similar. This is about this is the road, like you said, the road leading up to the Civil War, and this happened in the United States House of Representatives.
Okay.
So the seat of national power, Shawn. This is Congress. This is Congress at work. And so the U.S. House of Representatives erupted as members debated the Kansas Territory's pro-slavery Lecompton Constitution late into the night of February 5th and 6th. So obviously tensions are running high. It's 1858, so Civil War hasn't obviously started yet. South Carolina hasn't seceded from the Union, so we're still, in the. I must say I am kind of glad that we have the hey, let's debate this in Congress before the whole hey, let's secede from the Union and take up armed conflict against our Yankee oppressors. I am glad we got to see that. Shortly before 2 a.m., Pennsylvania Republican Galusha Grow and South Carolina Democrat Lawrence Kent exchanged insults and then blows. That's right, Shawn. We've got fist fights in Congress.
That's probably not the first time.
Probably not, but honestly, I'd be fine with Congress throwing down a fist fight every now and again. I think it would make C-SPAN way more interesting.
I know recently, I can't remember what they were voting on, but there was a split, and one of the sides that lost it were yelling shame. And shame.
One of them's ringing a bell.
Now we're referencing Game of Thrones. Okay. We've jumped the shark as a government.
That's where we're at. And now we have it. And so does that mean Trump's Joffrey?
No, I don't think so. I don't know.
I don't know. Exchanged insults and then blows. In an instant, the House was in the greatest possible confusion, the Congressional Globe reported. So it starts out with two guys, like they're screaming at each other, and they're like, fuck you, yeah, fuck you too. And then here come the fists.
Go back to your home in Tennessee, you mule fucker.
Mule fucker, you shot that mule. Oh, you son of a bitch. More than 30 members joined the melee.
Is that like a baseball fight, you think? You know, if you ever see in baseball, whenever they have a brawl, like you find somebody on the other team that you're friends with, like, hey, let's pretend we're arguing. And so like the Republican goes
so
over
they
and
look
find
like
the Democrat.
they look like movie extras in the background of like a war movie where it's like,
grabbing a shirt, like, I hate you. Hey, where you want to go eat at tonight? You want to go to that pub? Yeah, let's go to that pub. You son of a bitch. Haha, jerk face.
No one calls me a jerk face. Your mother did. Your mother did. Oh,
you son of a bitch. Boom, boom, boom.
30 members joined in the melee. So it went from 2 guys to 32 guys.
Oh, just like my dream come true.
Whoa.
What? Wait, what?
So Freud was right.
That was a Freudian penis.
Northern Republicans and Free Soilers joined the ranks against Southern Democrats. Speaker James Orr, a South Carolina Democrat, gavelled furiously for order and then instructed Sergeant... Hey! Knock it off!
Goes up, hit somebody in the head. I said knock it off.
Don't make me use this hammer.
Nobody's listening to me. Respect the gavel.
Guys, I have a hammer.
You can't do my job if you don't listen.
Oh, I hate you guys. You guys are worse. I hate this stupid Congress. Almost secede. Gavel furiously for order and then instructed Sergeant-at-Arms Adam J. Glossbrenner to arrest non-compliant members. It's like, hey, you, one guy, arrest these 30 men having a fist fight.
He's like, I don't get paid enough for this shit.
Yeah.
I quit. I secede from my job.
Do you need like a fancy letter with some calligraphy, or can I just say fuck off and then go home? Wading into the combatants, Glossbender held the house mace high to restore order. The house mace?
It's like in kindergarten where it's like, no, you can only talk if you have the glow stick. You can only talk if you have the glow stick. I have the glow stick.
My hand's up. What does that mean?
Respect the hand.
My hand's up. That means you need to listen. Yes, listen.
You want to be like that British government, huh? Is that what we've devolved to? Pierre walks in. No, we don't want to be like the British.
Fuck the British.
They no longer love the mules.
They are the stupid roast beef. That's what we called him. That's hilarious.
I will go now while you fist fight.
Wisconsin Republicans John, quote, okay, this has to be made up. John Bowie Knife Potter.
No, this is early days. That dude,
his nickname is Bowie Knife.
Like Davy Crockett was a congressman back then. These were guys that were like, these were men, Richard. These were men who went out and killed bears with their bare hand with Bowie knives. Daniel Boone was like an outdoorsman, goes across country into the lands and the untamed lands of the West.
And and then they're like, hey, now
there's nobody on this land, it's ours. What about those people over there?
Now it's Crockett goes to Washington. Fuck them. They got weird skin and wear feathers on their head. That's stupid. They're stupid. You're stupid.
Oh God, they're coming over here. We would like to buy your land for these beads.
I have some beads, and I have deer antlers. So, deal?
They just take it and look at like, what?
Okay, so deal. All right. Well, don't
He
worry.
shook my hand. He shook my hand. That's binding. That's
binding legal agreement. We will totally keep every single promise we make.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
That's one of the things that's always interesting in history class. It's like, so this Native American Indian thing happened, and let's go to the next page. But what happened to all the? We don't talk about it. And Pierre walks in. Oh, let's move on to the War of 1812.
No, let me explain the Indians to you. Oh, there's a group we fucked more than the mules.
Oh, it's sad.
John Bowie Knife Potter.
How'd you get the name Bowie Knife? Well, it was one time I actually cut my penis off with a Bowie knife.
Bowie knife. So then I attached the Bowie knife to the stump, and that's what I use to have sex with women. It's very violent. I don't want to talk about
the knife's flipped around. It's not weird.
No, it's pommel first. I'm not an animal. The hell's the matter with you? Yeah, I love that name. That's a congressman. So we get embarrassed over electing, weird, odd House representatives or even state representatives. Like sometimes we get weirded out. There is a Wisconsin Republican at one point named Bowie Knife Potter. That's who I want to elect. Who are you? What's your Bowie knife?
But like I said, Davy Crockett walked in with like a coon hat, like one of those. Didn't he have like an old coon hat? Wasn't that what he did? A raccoon hat?
I think so. That's how I always saw it on TV. He had the coonskin hat.
These were guys that walked in with muskets in hand and like these big ass knives. Like, all right, well, we're gonna vote on some new taxes, and we're gonna go out and we're gonna shoot some shit.
Let's look at our spending plan and let's make sure we itemize completely and cross-reference that with to make sure we aren't violating any sort of regulations or international treaties. All right, we good? Let's shoot some fucking bottles. So Bowie Knife Potter and Cadwallader Washburn. Why do we not have these names today?
I don't know.
Cadwallader. Cadwallader. That's his first name, Shawn.
That's his first name?
That's his first name. His last name is Washburn.
I think it's just because we've gotten lazy as a species.
Apparently.
We're like, we just want short names like Ed, Shawn, Rich. Like, we're going to shorten this shit up.
So Bowie Knife and Washburn ripped the hairpiece from the head of William Barksdale, a Democrat from Mississippi. They ripped his hairpiece off, Shawn. Okay, see, now we're crossing lines, and shit is getting personal.
Pierre again doing commentary. Oh, that is against the rules.
Oh, you took his hairpiece. Oh, you sick bastard. Marcus of Queensberry, rules be damned. The melee dissolved into a chorus of laughs and jeers, but the sectional nature of the fight powerfully symbolized the nation's divisions. Okay, so the entire fight stopped because
they're like, we still wear these wigs. I mean, we're grown men.
Because somebody's hairpiece got ripped off. Oh, that's awesome. So imagine, like, you're a guy. Let's say okay, Shawn, let's say you might be sensitive enough to wear a hairpiece. And you're in Congress in a fist fight. Already slightly embarrassing. The fact that you're involved, you're supposed to be, men of higher order, embolizing the ideals that symbolize our republic, and you're in a fist fight on the House floor. And then all of a sudden somebody rips your hairpiece off, and now everybody's laughing at you. Like, people probably stopped mid-punch, and they're like, oh my God.
He's seriously wearing a hairpiece.
Oh, that's so stupid. You're stupid.
Well, what would be worse than that? Like, I'd imagine you break down in tears and be like, "Oh,
Yeah.
it's not a hairpiece. It's not a hairpiece. It's not a hairpiece."
No. Stop laughing at me.
Can we go back to making laws?
The melee dissolved into a chorus of laughter and jeers, but the sectional nature of the fight powerfully symbolized the nation's divisions. When the House reconvened 2 days later, because after the fist fight, they're like, okay, oh, Barksdale, that was fucking amazing.
We're gonna name a road after you. Thanks, man. Oh, I always wanted a name after a road named after my last name. My family would probably like, no, it's gonna be Hairpiece Lane, you stupid son of a bitch.
Because that was epic. When the House reconvened 2 days later, a coalition of Northern Republicans and Free Soilers narrowly blocked referral of the Lecompton Constitution to the House Territories Committee. Kansas entered the Union in 1861 as a free state. Now, this happened in 1858, so we're talking 3 years later.
So this is just kind of the boiling point of everything.
Yeah. This is the whole tensions of slavery and everything, and you couple that with Kansas, wanting to enter the Union, which I can't remember if Kansas stayed or not.
Yeah, it did, because Missouri was like the 59 or this whatever compromise, the Missouri Compromise, whatever it was called, and that's why like Kansas and Missouri is like they have like a college feud right now. Like that's like the thing is the Missouri Kansas like battle or whatever they call it. But basically that was like a real thing. Like there's a lot of fights between Kansas and Missouri residents.
Oh.
Like Jesse James, for instance, like he I think he did a lot of his fighting in Kansas.
James. Sorry.
Well, I like that we got to go through a little history. So we got to see like the first kind of battle. We got to see a little prequel action.
Yeah, this was the start of the tensions that eventually became the Civil War.
Do you think like in today's age, like let's say you wear a hairpiece and you go out to the bar and like a fight breaks out and somebody accidentally pulls your hairpiece out? That's not going to stop the fight today, right? I would imagine they'd laugh and then punch you in the nuts.
I think everybody might turn on that guy.
Yeah. Wait, you're my friends. Why are you fighting against me? I didn't know you were.
That was stupid.
Pierre walks in again. Oh, I did not know you wore a hairpiece.
Hairpiece is universally unliked, didn't you know?
There is people that wear hairpieces and then mule sex defenders.
You must go au natural.
All right. Well, in this very historic episode, Richard, do you have any Richard's closing thoughts?
Well, I think I said it earlier, we live today in a nation that we think is divided, but we used to live in a nation where half the country left and decided to be their own. And so maybe our differences aren't as much as we think they are, and there's always common ground, and that common ground sometimes is everybody hates a hairpiece.
All right, well, I'll do a little bit of housekeeping. Visit our website, we're at languageofbromance.com. Follow us on Twitter, we're at languageofbro. Email us at eatthebeaver at languageofbromance.com. Check out the LOB Army Intelligence Reports. There's the Richard Rants, Thoughts from a 12th Level Intellect, and Ian Wells Presents. Those come out on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Like us on Facebook, subscribe and leave a review on Google Play Music, iTunes, and Stitcher.
And don't forget to check us out on the Pop Rose Network,
the best podcast site on the internet. They just added Ecoplasm. It's a podcast about like supernatural things. The one I just listened to was about like creepy dolls. It's pretty good.
Ooh, everybody loves a creepy doll or really, really hates them.
And if you want to join our Patreon, go to www.patreon.com/languageofbromance.
Fantastic.
Well, is there anything else before I close her out?
No, we're done here. We are all finished. We're tying the bow.
All right. Well, that's all the bromance we have for this show. I'm Shawn.
And I'm Richard.
You know, always say we eat the beaver.
Not the mule.
We don't eat the mule, we eat the beaver.
We shoot the mule and fuck hair pieces.